Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Jedi Night's Watch. My name is Graham, and today we're going to do a video that I don't think is talked about enough, and it's how to collect hot toys without going broke, or collecting hot toys on a budget. Before we get going, I want to invite you to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and ring that bell so you don't miss any new content coming your way. Have a lot of fun on this channel. We are a growing channel. We are approaching 2,000 subscribers, and I can't do it without each and every one of you, so thank you very much for watching the content that I'm creating. All right, so hot toys can be kind of a scary market to collect in because it can get expensive and it can get addicting, and if you're not careful, you can spiral down pretty quick. You can tap out, and just some bad things can happen. So here are some things that I have 5 things that we're going to talk about on ways to budget or not go broke while collecting. And the first one would be just kind of what the title says. Set a budget, but even harder to do is stick to it. So it's really easy, again, to get addicted and to just keep buying and buying and buying, because it's a really cool feeling to buy a Hot Toys figure. You have it come in the mail and you get to open it and add it to the collection and review it, but without looking at your finances, you kind of keep buying and buying and buying. It's kind of like using a credit card and you don't look at what you have, and you just kind of keep swiping till all of a sudden you look one day and you're like, oh, I have no money left. So this is easier said than done, but limit yourself to maybe 1 figure per month. Look at your finances, budget what you need to pay your bills, probably put some money aside as well, because it's always good to save money, and whatever you have left over you can use for your fun account or your Hot Toys account. So if that's a couple $100 a month, or something like that, where you can get 1 figure a month, stick to it. The other thing is, while you may have good intentions on doing like the payment plans through Sideshow, those can also be kind of detrimental to you, because it's easy, again, to collect pre-orders and to put these non-refundable down payments on. So that kind of money needs to come out of your budget as well. And if you're doing a payment plan, you need to make sure you know what your payments are going to be, how many are going to be coming out a month, because if you have 10 pre-orders and then they're all on payment plans and they're all hitting on the same months, you're still probably going to be paying quite a bit of money per month. Plus, if you're buying figures, it's going to add up pretty quickly. So know what your budget is, set the budget, hold yourself accountable, and make sure you stick to it. The next step would be use your collection to fund your collection. This is a really good way to keep buying figures without really digging into your own pockets, or without going broke, because figures tend to go up in value. It's very rare that they go down. At least they hold their value throughout. So if you bought it at retail, for the most part, it's going to be retail or above, especially when it sells out on Sideshow. So maybe you have something in your collection that you've lost interest in, or, we're humans, we change over time. Our interests change, our hobbies change. So maybe there's a figure that you just don't like as much as you once did. Sell that figure on eBay or Facebook Marketplace and use that figure to purchase the new craze, the new hot toy figure that you really want, that the hype is real about. Maybe you have a figure that has doubled or even tripled in value since you've gotten it, and you're not maybe attached to it as much as you were, or you'd be okay with selling it. You can sell that figure and possibly have enough money to get 3 Hot Toys figures. So use your collection to fund your collection. In my experience as well, I collected Funko Pops before this, and I pretty much sold most of my Funko Pops in order to pay for a lot of my Hot Toys to get myself started. So there's different ways that you can use your collection, whatever that might be, to fund your collection. Now, there is one drawback on using your collection to fund your collection, and that came out recently with the IRS notifying us that they're actually going to be taxing online sellers selling whatever they may be selling, anything over $600 annually. And as Hot Toys collectors, we know we can reach that peak pretty quickly. So that could be detrimental to using your collection to fund your collection, because I'm not sure what the percentage of that tax is going to be, but something that you should all be aware of is that that's happening starting January of 2022. So If it's 4 to 6, 7%, I don't think the hit is going to be as bad. But if we're looking at like a 15 to 20% cut that the IRS takes after you sell the figure, it's definitely not going to be easy to sell figures online, especially when you're paying eBay their cut. You're already, paying shipping or taxes, whatever the case may be for that. So, or PayPal taxes. So, just be aware of that it could change on how you kind of use your collection to fund your collection. The next thing is something that I actually like to do personally, and it's buy my figures loose or incomplete. So I have a save search on eBay, Hot Toys Loose or Hot Toys Incomplete, and I can kind of see figures that maybe it's the figure and the accessories, but they don't have the art box, so you're getting a nice discount. This is a great way to buy figures at a very cheaper price as opposed to spending quite a bit of money. There's the Han Solo figure that goes for $500-$600 right now. I was able to get him for $250 because he didn't come with his stand or the box. Well, then I could find an empty box on eBay that I bought for $40, so I'm $290 into it. I don't have the stand yet, but if that's not important to you, if you're not necessarily a completionist, then that's something that I would look into, is buying figures incomplete or loose, especially if you just want the figure and you don't care about all of the accessories or having it complete. The number 4 thing would be to not go backwards. And if you're taking it from me, this isn't one that I always follow because I've been trying to catch up from the cool figures that were released years ago that I wasn't collecting at the time, so I wasn't able to get them. But typically, it depends on the figure, depends on what's hot at the time, but Hot Toys figures, once they sell out, their price starts to skyrocket on the secondary market. So if you don't get it while it's in stock, you're going to be paying a lot more money, sometimes double, sometimes triple the price. It just depends on what's hot and what's in demand at the moment. So if you're on a budget, don't go backwards. Collect only what's in stock because that's what's going to be the cheapest. And then you're not spending big bucks on figures that have been long sold out. This can be tough because there's a lot of cool figures that you've probably missed out on, but limit yourself to not going backwards if it is going to be that big of a deal for you. And the final thing is going to be selective and or focus on one franchise. If you are a fan of DC, Marvel, and Star Wars, maybe it's just best to pick your favorite and collect just that one so that you're not feeling maybe overwhelmed or that you have to get all of these figures from all of these different franchises and you're buying 3-4 figures a month. So maybe just focus on a franchise, get one at a time or one a month, and do it that way so you're not spending all this big bucks on all these figures. And be selective. In this hobby, these aren't cheap figures, so you do need to be selective. Get stuff that means something to you, that has maybe a nostalgic feeling or an emotional attachment. Don't get a figure on a whim. Sometimes us YouTubers, and I'm probably guilty as well, we give into the hype and we get you guys all hyped up and we're like, you got to get this new figure. It looks great. It's awesome. But if it doesn't mean much to you, then don't get it. Like, the same thing for me. There's figures like that have been really great that people have loved and they've really hyped up, and I'm just like, it's great, but I'm not getting it because it's not something that I'm into. But I'm not saying I'm perfect. It has happened. One recently has been the Armorer. After Book of Boba Fett episode 5, I think it was, where she was in, I'm like, oh man, she's so cool, I'm gonna get her. And I did, and then I got her. I'm just like, oh, the hype died down really quick. I'm just like, the figure's okay, but it doesn't really mean anything to me. She's posed with Mando, but I don't care. Like, I don't have that attachment to the figure or the character itself. So I didn't need to get it, and now it's just kind of stuck in my collection unless I sell it. So those are things to be mindful of, is to be selective. Collect only what you love or what has meaning to you. And the other thing that we talked about earlier in the video is that IRS tax. So if that is going to hinder you from selling online, whether that be Mercari, eBay, Facebook, any online transaction is going to be taxed by the IRS if over $600 total annually. So if that's going to be another huge like cut that the IRS is taking, or a tax that you're gonna have to pay at the end of the year, you're gonna have to be selective with what you're selling, which means you're gonna have to be even more selective with what you're buying, because more than likely, if you're in a location like me that's not overly populated, not a huge city around, then you're going to have to probably hold on to these figures longer. It's going to be harder to meet up with somebody and sell them. So definitely be selective to what you're buying, because there's no worse feeling in the world than having that buyer's regret, that because you just kind of gave into the hype. So just to recap, in order for you guys to collect figures, Hot Toys figures, without going broke, set a budget and stick to it. Use your collection to fund your collection. Buy figures loose or incomplete. If you just want the figure, you can get a really good deal. Don't go backwards. Collect only what's in stock at a cheaper price, and be selective, or collect just one franchise. Maybe just hone in on something so that you're not buying figures from every which way and going broke. So hopefully you guys liked the video. Hopefully a couple of these, or maybe all of these tips, helped you. I know maybe not everybody would follow every single one, but maybe somebody can follow a couple, somebody else can follow a different couple, just to kind of help you guys budget and collect the hobby while still having fun and being responsible. So if you like the video, please like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss any new content coming your way. Until next time, stay safe out there, and we'll see you soon.